It's that time of year again, here at the University of Kentucky, where everyone has an opinion about who is going to win the big tournament. But rather than listening to your great uncle, your pet dog, or even your lucky rabbit, you do better this year to get your information from true experts. Come listen as our distinguished panel gives you the lowdown, predicting the winners and losers for March Madness, a historical edition. I'm excited then to turn things over to the host of our panel, a wizard of no small reputation, Mr. Albus Dumbledore. Thank you, Dr. Myrup. I'm here today with Edward Gibbon and David Hume, two very eminent historians, as well as with Mr. Samwise Gamgee, a gardener of great esteem. Together, these three have been breaking down the historical brackets for more than 5 centuries. Gentlemen, welcome to today's show. You're very welcome, Mr. Dumbledore, sir. And hello, everyone out there in the land of the podcast. I'm Samwise Gamgee. Yes, and I'm Edward Gibbon. Very pleased to be here. Very pleased indeed. As I was saying to both David and Samwise before the beginning of the show, we've been doing this for a very long time, you know. A very long time. Dumbledore, did I ever mention... So very sorry, Mr. Gibbon, but we don't have time today for long introductions, or conclusions for that matter. Better to be nice and succinct. Mr. Hume, we welcome you here today as well. Oh, yes, I'm David. Let's get on with it then. Well then, gentlemen, let's begin with the western portion of our bracket. How are things shaping up? Why don't you start us off, Edward? Oh, this looks to be one of the most difficult regions in the tournament. To begin, the number 1 seed, John Calvin, looks to go very far this year. Very far indeed. He's been known to burn previous opponents at the stake, and his gaze, it could skin a gazelle. Frankly, his first-round opponent, Marie Antoinette, does not stand a chance. What do you think, Sam? That Mr. Calvin, he gives me the shivers, sir, if you know what I mean. Feels as if he's looking right through you, like you don't have nothing on. Oh, isn't that right, Mr. Hume? Oh, yes, one look from him and little Marie's going to be running back to Austria. Frankly, I am surprised that she made it into the tournament at all, given her steady diet of, cake. But that being said, if she were to advance, we could have a very intriguing match-up in the next round, Dumbledore. Presumably you're referring to the presence of Robespierre. Oh, yes, quite right, Dumbledore. Marie would like nothing more than a chance to exact her revenge. You'll recall what happened to her back in the 93 tournament. You were at the game, Edward. Do you remember? Yes, of course. It happened so fast that I didn't quite know what hit her. Right on the nape of the neck, I think it was. That being said, even though he's a number 2 seed, there's no guarantee that Robespierre is going to make it out of the first round. As I mentioned before, this is a very difficult region, and I suspect that Archimedes may very well pull off an upset here. You'll recall his performance in the Philosophers' football match in 72, when the Greeks trounced the Germans with the odd goal. Oh, yes, and if he can get his heat ray working, eureka! Oh, it'll be over all too soon. Indeed, if it happens to be sunny out, it won't matter what instruments of terror Robespierre brings to the match. It will be over in a blinding flash with a nice little puff of smoke to bid the Frenchman adieu. Moving on, gentlemen, any thoughts on the other matchups in the region? Sam, what do you make of the affair, for example, between Anne Boleyn and King Henry? The king is still the favourite, but he isn't in the same form as he used to be. Been putting on the pounds, he has. Yes, Sam. I saw him briefly yesterday, and it looks like he's putting on at least 10 stone since the last time they met in, when was it? 36. If Anne can just keep her head in the game, I'd actually give her the edge here. Oh, but it will be a dicey affair. Oh, you know, they both might do better to seek counselling rather than to settle their differences out and about in the public square, as me old gaffer used to say. And what of the final match-up in the region? Let me see here. It's between 2 relative newcomers who are both from the New World, Annie Oakley and Aaron Burr. What can you tell us, David? Oh, they're both a little after my time, I'm afraid. But based on what I've read in the papers, I'm surprised that Oakley didn't get a higher seed. Oh, she's very good with projectiles. Once shot a sparrow with a bow and arrow, and don't forget, she always gets her man. Isn't that right, Edward? Yes, yes, but don't count Burr out just yet. He's a dark horse if ever there was one. They say he was within a heartbeat of the U.S. presidency. And don't forget, he can shoot a partridge with a single cartridge. Oh, no, he can't. Yes, he can. No, he can't. Yes, he can. Oh, pardon me, Mr. Gibbon, Mr. Hume, but stories like this here Miss Oakley, and that there Mr. Aaron Burr, they ought to have happy endings. Well, how about something like this? They both settled down and lived happily ever after. Oh, but wait. If Miss Oakley, and Mr. Aaron Burr were to marry, then when would they live? Oh, that's what I often wonder, Mr. Dumbledore, sir. Gentlemen, the best of us sometimes eat our words, but before we can settle your differences, I'm afraid that we need to cut back to Dr. Myrup. Yes, yes, we shall return. Yes, we shall return. Goodbye for now. Dr. Myrup. And I'm back. I do hope you'll participate in March Madness, a historical edition. And do be sure to come to our registration kickoff this Thursday, March 23rd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 17th floor of Patterson Office Tower. We'll have free food, funny historical videos, dancing professors, TAs quoting Shakespeare, and 16 epic matchups between 32 of the greatest historical figures of all time. Thank you.